Te Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate
Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Let's see this meter for this. Will be different. Tam Tvam Vidama Bhagavan Paramatma Tattvam Satvena Samprotiratim Rachayantamesam Tattena Tapamidi Tay Drudha Bhakti Yoge Rud Granthayo Hidi Vidurmanaya Viraga Tam Tvam Vidama Bhagavan Paramatma Tattvam Satvena Samprotiratim Rachayantamesam Tattenu tapa viditair dudha bhakti yoge Udgrantayo hridi vidur munayo viraga Tam tvam vidama bhagavan paramatma tattvam Satvena sampratiratim rachayantamesam Tattenu tapa viditaye drudha bhakti yoge Udgrantayo hridi vidur munayo viraga. Please recite.
Tam tvam vidama bhagavan paramatma tattvam satvena sampratiratim rachayantamesham yatte nutapa vidyatadvidha bhakti yoga udgrantayo hridi vidur manayo viraga.
Thank you.
Tam tvam vidama bhagavan paramatma tattvam satvena sampratiratim rachayantamesham yette nutapa viditer drudha bhakti yoger udgrantayor hidi vidur munayo viraga.
Hare Krishna. Tam tam vidama bhagavan parama atma tattam sattena sampriti ratim rachayantam esham yatte untapa vidhatair driho bhakti yogair udgrantayo vridi vidur munayo viraga. Hare Krishna.
Tam Tvam Vidhama Bhagavan Paramatma Tattvam Satvena Sampratitratim Rachayantamesham Yatte Nutapa Viditair Dridhabhakti Yogair Ugrantayo Hridi Vidur Munayo Viraga.
Nice. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Tam tvam vidama bhagavan parama atma tattvam satvena samprati ratim rachayanta esham yatte anutapa viditer dridha bhakti yoger udgrantayo riti vatur munayo viraga. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So we'll go for synonyms. Tam, him. Tvam, you. Vidama, we know. Bhagavan, O Supreme Personality of Godhead. Param, the Supreme. Atma Tattvam, Absolute Truth. Satvena, by your form of pure goodness. Samprati, now. Ratim, love of God. Rachayantam, creating. Esam, of all of them. Yat, which. Te, your. Anutapa, mercy. Viditaye, understood. Urdha, unflinching. Bhakti Yoga, through devotional service. Udgranthaya, without attachment, free from material bondage. Hridi, in the heart. Vidu, understood. Munayo, great sages. Viraga, not interested in material life. We know that you are the Supreme Absolute Truth, the personality of Godhead, who manifests his transcendental form in the uncontaminated mode of pure goodness. This transcendental, eternal form of your personality can be understood only by your mercy, through unflinching devotional service, by great sages whose hearts have been purified in the devotional way. Purport. The Absolute Truth can be understood in three features: impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, and Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Here it is admitted that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the last word in understanding the Absolute Truth. Even though the four Kumaras were instructed by their great learned father Brahma, they could not actually understand the Absolute Truth. They could only understand the Supreme Absolute Truth when they personally saw the Personality of Godhead with their own eyes. In other words, if one sees or understands the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the other two features of the Absolute Truth, namely impersonal Brahman and localized Paramatma, are also automatically understood. Therefore, the Kumaras confirm you are the ultimate Absolute Truth. The impersonalist may argue that since the Supreme Personality of Godhead was so nicely decorated, he was therefore not the Absolute Truth. But here it is confirmed that all the variegatedness of the Absolute platform is constituted of Suddha Sattva, pure goodness. In the material world, any quality, goodness, passion, or ignorance is contaminated. Even the quality of goodness here in the material world is not free from tinges of passion and ignorance. But in the transcendental world, only pure goodness without any tinge of passion or ignorance exists. Therefore, the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his variegated pastimes and paraphernalia are all pure Sattva Guna. Such variegatedness and pure goodness is exhibited eternally by the Lord for the satisfaction of the devotee. The devotee does not want to see the Supreme Personality of Absolute Truth in voidness or impersonalism. In one sense, absolute transcendental variegatedness is meant only for the devotees, not for others, because this distinct feature of transcendental variegatedness can be understood only by the mercy of the Supreme Lord and not by mental speculation or the ascending process. It is said that one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead when one is even slightly favored by him. Otherwise, without his mercy, a man may speculate for thousands of years and not understand what is actually the Absolute Truth. This mercy can be perceived by the devotee when he is completely freed from contamination. It is stated, therefore, that only when all contamination is rooted out, the devotee is completely detached from the material attractions, can he receive this mercy of the Lord. Again, I'll read the last sentence. It is stated, therefore, that only when all contamination is rooted out and the devotee is completely detached from material attractions, can he receive this mercy of the Lord. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirbhisesa Sunyavadi Paschat Desatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktabanda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Translation again. We know that you are the Supreme Absolute Truth, the personality of Godhead, who manifests his transcendental form in the uncontaminated mode of pure goodness. This transcendental eternal form of your personality can be understood only by your mercy through unflinching devotional service, by great sages whose hearts have been purified in the devotional way. Hare Krishna, good morning. I would like to seek blessings from all the assembled Vaishnavas, senior Vaishnavas. Such a wonderful association. We have it. In the morning, we can spend some time, inspire each other in reading about the wonderful pastimes of the Absolute Truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. So I would like to seek blessings so I can share something. This is prayer offered by Kumaras to Lord Vishnu. And this is, in every prayer is very important. It really awakens our sleep, because many times we may take devotional service as very much granted. But we can see even Kumaras didn't have that realization. Even though they directly got instructed by Lord Brahma, their father, still, as per Prabhupada's purport, we can see, even after they heard, they could not actually understand the absolute truth. And from Bhagavad Gita, we can see, Janma karma cha me divyam, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yevati tattva tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti sarjana. Just understanding Krishna's appearance and activities is transcendental. Divyam, one will be freed from the birth and death. Just understanding. But before we understand, what is the meaning of understanding means, we have to know who Krishna is. In this world, there's so much of needed, the preaching of Krishna consciousness. Just sharing everybody that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that itself is a very important task. No one knows. We are a very handful of devotees. Every morning we join. In the city, there's thousands, hundreds of thousands of people live. Simply knowing Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one will be freed from the birth and death, is Krishna's statement. And that is cannot be understood. Even that statement cannot be understood very easily, just like that. As Brahma says, I think it's Panthasta Koti Satavasara Sampragamya Vayu Athopi Manasa Munipungduvanam. One may speculate so much. You can keep on speculating. You can keep on studying. But knowing about the Lord Krishna is not very easy at all. Impossible. Even after in the association for so long, we have this perception, Krishna, this impersonal aspect of the Lord is very much prevalent in our minds and thoughts. Many people. So Lord is not, he does not reveal himself very easily. From Kumaras itself, we can see that the sons of Brahma, their brahmacharis from the birth. So much of austerities they have performed. Still, they could not understand. But that absolute truth, who is not available, not accessible just by any other process, is available through bhakti, devotional service. Vedesu dullabam adullabam atma bhakto. So, because even after searching in the Vedas and Purana, it's so difficult to find out. But adullabam, but by the mercy of the devotees of the Lord, one can get very easily. I remember something Prabhupada says when he was preaching in the West. He was mentioning, discussing about the God Krishna, So many people, even Christians, they couldn't answer who God is. So Prabhupada says, I'm giving you God, I'm giving you it, why don't you take it? That's I think Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes this verse. Krishna etato mara, Krishna dite para. This verse is from Aya Vaishnava Thakur. Krishna belongs to you means by pure devotional service, Krishna is residing in their heart, and he becomes a property of the devotees, because he says, I just fulfilled the desire of my devotees. It is by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada we know a little bit, whatever we know. Otherwise, knowing Krishna and rendering service to Krishna is very, very rare. Rupa Goswami, I wanted to share this from a Nectar of Devotion, a few things about characteristics of devotional service. Let me share this link. 1 second. Yeah. In the characteristics of devotional service, Rupa Goswami writes, there are 5 kinds of liberation, namely to become one with Lord, to live with the Supreme Lord in the same planet, to have the same features of the Lord, to enjoy the same opulence as the Lord, and to live as a companion of the Lord. There are 5 kinds of liberations. A devotee, what to speak of rejecting material sense gratification, does not even want any of the 5 kinds of liberation. He's talking about pure devotees. He is satisfied simply by discharging loving service to the Lord. That is the characteristics of pure devotion. Then he says, in the above statement by Kapila Dev from Srimad Bhagavatam, the actual position of a pure devotee is described, and the primary characteristics of devotional service are also defined. Further characteristics of devotional service are described by Rupa Goswami with evidences from different scriptures. He states that there are 6 characteristics of pure devotional service, which are as follows. So this is what I want to share. One is, pure devotional service brings immediate relief from all kinds of material distress. Pure devotional service is the beginning of all auspiciousness. It means, when we come to Krishna consciousness, that is also beginning of all auspiciousness. But here further stated, the pure devotional service is the beginning of all auspiciousness. Third, pure devotional service automatically puts one in transcendental pleasure. Pure devotional service is rarely achieved. Those in pure devotional service derive even the conception of liberation, and pure devotional service is the only means to attract Krishna. So, pure devotional service is very rarely achieved. We can see from today's reading that even great personalities like Kumaras, they were not knowing about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If you don't know the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there's no question of service. And there's no question of pure devotional service also. So here Prabhupada says, even though so many transcendentalists are there, they have different level of realizations. Brahmeti, Paramatma, Bhagavaniti, Sabdate. So, but ultimate realization is Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ultimate realization. And when we understand Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we'll be able to understand the other 2 aspects of the Absolute Truth as well, as impersonal aspect and Paramatma aspect, both. They could only understand the Supreme Absolute Truth when they personally saw the Personality of Godhead with their own eyes. This is a bewildering, puzzling statement. Generally it is said that Prabhupada came to West, people have no idea who Krishna is. They have never seen it, they never heard about it. But they could draw such a beautiful pictures of the spiritual world. Yesterday, somebody was showing all these pictures. They thought that is the pictures of the material world, because it has a material body and everything. But we understand from the acharyas that it's the depiction of the spiritual world. It's not material world. The Lord and his associates have transcendental bodies. They are not material bodies. But we think that is because they have a body like this, they are dressed like us, so it is a material. So Prabhupada also writes, because it is meant that it is described, the Lord has been decorated with all these wonderful ornaments, so it must be material. Prabhupada says no, none of them are material, because everything in this material world is contaminated with three modes. But everything in the spiritual world, they are free from all the three modes. Rajagun, Tamagun, Satagun. They're called pure goodness. It means the ornaments in the spiritual world are also pure goodness. They are not made of conditioned by Rajagun and Tamagun, Satagun. They appear like gold. The real gold is in the spiritual world. The gold which we see in this material world is only in perverted form. And that brings a lot of trouble also. Especially in the age of Kali. We know that Parikshit Maharaj allowed Kali to stay in gold or money. So we see that becomes a lot of trouble. But the gold which is mentioned, the ornaments is mentioned, gold ornaments, the spiritual world is made of pure goodness, everything. But the impersonalist thinking is that anything which is as a form, as a variety, it must be material. But from the acharyas, from the parampara, we can understand, even though they appear like this, but actually they are transcendental, the pure goodness, Suddha Sattva Guna. Anything in the material world, any quality, goodness, passion, or ignorance is contaminated. Even the quality of goodness here in the material world is not free from the tinges of passion and ignorance. So how will we know all these things? How will we know all these things? This cannot be understood because we are insignificant souls, conditioned. We have a insignificant body. Body has certain level of senses, limited senses, which has knowledge acquiring senses. But those knowledge acquiring senses are also not perfect. We have imperfect senses. And then because of that, we get illusioned. Because we get illusioned, we commit mistake. And because we commit mistake, then we cheat others. So these are the propensities we have our senses are imperfect. So how will we know? Only by the mercy of the Lord. He says that this mercy, finally it says, it is said that one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead when one is even slightly favored by him. That favor comes from the devotees. That favor comes from the devotees. And devotees are working so hard just to teach us there is a personality called Krishna is existing. And he is our Lord and Master. He is the original personality, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And you have eternal relationship with him as a loving servant. By the mercy of the Lord and his devotees, we can understand. Otherwise, one may speculate for thousands of years and cannot be able to understand the absolute truth. This mercy can be perceived by the devotee when he is completely free from contamination. It means everything we are realizing about the absolute truth is very gradual. Today I know about something, when I get further purified, I'll know a little more and realize more and more. It's like a proportionate. As we get purified, our consciousness becomes pure. We become completely pure, Krishna conscious. At this time, we may know Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but how he is, what his activities in the spiritual world, Not the great, everything about him is not possible to be understood. Rupa Goswami, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu speaks to Sanatana Goswami. It's not possible to understand everything about the spiritual world. At the same time, he also explains to Rupa Goswami, it's not possible to understand the devotional service, everything, but I'll give a drop of it. So it is stated, therefore, that only when all contamination is rooted out and the devotee is completely detached from the material attractions, can he receive this mercy of the Lord. So, yeah, condition is there. Unless one gets purified, one cannot understand. It will not be the complete recipient of the Lord's mercy. It will not be revealed to the Lord, revealed to the person, the sadhaka. So here the Kumaras is a great example that how rare to know Krishna, because he covers himself, Krishna covers himself. He doesn't want to reveal to the people, the souls who want to enjoy, separately away from him. That's the whole purpose of covering himself. He says, Nam prakasasya yogamaya samabrita. I don't reveal myself. I cover myself with my own internal potency. And the living entities are covered by the Maya energy. Both way, it is hidden. That's why we are very grateful to the devotees who nurtured us, who are nurturing us, training us, constantly finding faults in us, correcting us, so that we can be perfected, and we can purify it, and Krishna can be revealed to us. That is the perfection of our life. It's very hard, but I think this world is looking for, somehow or other, luckily, fortunately, we have, at least we know who Krishna is, and we are learning. There's so many souls in the world, they are bereft of Krishna consciousness. It is our privilege, a great opportunity to share with them, together and cooperatively, so that many lives can be delivered. That's what I want to share. So I'll stop it here. I know we have a good amount of time to discuss, and a lot of realizations can be given. Vishnuvedha Prabhu, would you like to say something, please? Correct me.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kirtan Prabhu. I could ask a question for you, if you don't mind. So, Srila Prabhupada makes points in the purport that the spiritual world is pure goodness, whereas in this material world there's goodness, but it's also contaminated by passion and ignorance. Could you discuss a little further what the contamination of the mode of goodness in the material world might look like in contrast to pure goodness?
Yeah, I'll try. Contamination is, as we were discussing, this material world is made of three principal ingredients. Three gunas. It is everything in this material world is a product of three gunas, and the source of those guna is, the false ego. From false ego, it means one puts everything in the perverted form. Is basically covering the reality. So every manifestation in this material world is product of these three gunas. So that's why they are not considered, they are not pure. But on the other hand, the ingredients of the spiritual world is eternity, cognizant, and bliss. The ingredients in the spiritual world is made of different elements. They are eternity and cognizant and bliss. Everything is consciousness. So, analytically studying, the material manifestation products are made of different elements. It's called inferior elements, inferior energy of the Lord. And everything is manifesting in the spiritual world are made of so higher ingredients, which is Satchit Ananda. So to explain, what is pure goodness means anything which is not has a tinge of these three gunas. That's what's called pure goodness, or Visuddha Sattva, Suddha Sattva, or Vasudeva, Vasudeva, yeah, Vasudeva Sattva. Sorry, did I say Vasudeva Sattva? Yeah, Vasudeva Sattva. I don't know. This is what is a. You can add if you. Yeah, you can
Yeah,
add.
that's so. In the mode of goodness, there's happiness in the mode of ignorance, happiness in the mode of passion, happiness in the mode of goodness.
Hmm.
And then when someone is engaged in activities of the mode of goodness, which might be certain amount of austerity, a certain amount of restriction of sense gratification, a certain amount of study of intellectual topics,
Hmm.
there's a certain kind of happiness that is derived from that. But and as a result of that, a person might think in the contaminated mode of goodness that they're better than other people
Hmm.
and that they're already at a position of elevation. So there might be a sense of complacency. That's a tinge of the mode of ignorance in the mode of goodness, that I'm already very elevated. I don't have to make further progress.
Hmm.
I'm better than other people. People should respect me. So those might be aspects of contamination of the mode of in the mode of goodness by the other modes. Those just some ideas I thought of. Okay, then another question would be,
Yeah.
so the four Kumaras, they heard from Lord Brahma, and you mentioned that anybody who's a devotee, if somebody gets mercy of a devotee, then that's how they get the mercy of Krishna. So did they have the mercy of Lord Brahma?
Yeah, and maybe you can. I know that this question will come. I was about to ask to you about this. You can share it, please.
No, you're good. You're good. Are the other devotees on the call that can say?
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. Uh, well, sometimes we don't see as how come even Brahma taught, but they could not understand, and that is understood. A pure devotee has the ability to impart this, reveal this, the confidential aspect of the Lord into the heart of the disciple. But at the same time, it also depends on the qualification of a disciple. When sometimes, example, because the four Kumaras were impersonal realization, they had it. Sometimes they can be um, strong position. They have that conviction that that's what is the absolute truth. So sometimes experience is also needed. So we Prabhupada preached so many people, but not necessarily everybody took it. It also needs a fertile recipient, the fertile heart of the recipient, or qualified disciple, to be able to understand. It's not that shortcoming of Brahma or the teacher. It could be a disqualification of a disciple. So that's what I understand that. Yeah. But later, by the mercy of the Lord, when they saw, they were convinced, yeah, the absolute truth is Bhagavan. Or we can say Brahma had, even the Brahma had, may not have complete realization as, Ishvara Paramakrishna Sachidananda Vigraha the other way, but he knew that, Brahma knew that Krishna, Lord Vishnu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead before itself. Lord revealed him. So I think it's the disciple who did not fail to understand. What is others? What is your point?
I didn't have a point. I was just asking the question that here, Lord Brahma, certainly he explained to the four Kumaras the existence and the importance of service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but for some reason, in some way, they still took it that the impersonal feature of the Supreme Lord was the most prominent. And so they didn't, even though they heard from the spiritual master, they didn't get the full understanding until they actually applied some of the teachings by, in this case, they ventured all the way to Vaikuntha Loka. So that way they, by the mercy of Brahma and Lord Krishna together, they understood more fully. And that's there in the verse by Lord Chaitanya. E rupe brahmanda brahmite kono bhagyavan jeev guru Krishna kripa pai bhakti lata bij. So the mercy of the Guru and the mercy of Krishna. And by the mercy of Guru, you get the mercy of Krishna, but they're both together. So they applied what they knew or what they understood, thinking of the impersonal feature, but then they were, by Krishna's mercy and Lord Brahma's mercy, they were further educated by this experience. So that's also there within ISKCON. Even in the early days of ISKCON, sometimes even though people heard from, maybe not just the early days, but I should say, but the people hear from Srila Prabhupada, and at a certain point they began talking about becoming impersonalists. And there was a whole thing in New Vrindavan in 1970 where devotees started preaching impersonal philosophy. But Srila Prabhupada corrected them, and then they were chastised and improved.
Thank you. Yeah. And also I think that's the whole purpose of this prayer they're offering, because they also accept, unless they could not understand the Lord because they were not engaged in devotional service. That's what and if only your mercy through unflinching devotional service by great sages whose hearts has been purified in the devotional way. One can understand in that way. So I think in this is where they got the mercy by, smelling the tulsi, the incense, or what I forget, incense or tulsi. That's where they got the mercy, I think, isn't it? That's that purified.
That's what's mentioned there in Srimad Bhagavatam, yes.
Yeah. So I think that's also, that's also devotional service. You're simply by coming in contact with the paraphernalia or remnants of the Lord, one can develop taste, attraction for Krishna. So I think the whole statement is, even though they were so learned, they could not understand the Lord because they did not engage in devotional service. That's why bhakti is very, very rare. That's why how fortunate, that's why I feel, how fortunate we are to be able to understand, study this transcendental literature about the Lord Krishna. I'm very grateful. Thank you for guiding all of us also. Anyone has other comments, please? We have some amount of time. Yes, please. Bhavagrahi Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. In this verse, it says, in his transcendental form, in the uncontaminated mode of pure goodness. I thought Krishna was above the gunas. I didn't think that the gunas affected Krishna.
Right. That's correct.
But then it says he's in pure goodness. So is that saying he's in the mode of goodness, or?
Okay. I think that's what we discussed at the beginning. Vishnu raised this.
Got it. Okay. Perfect.
Goodness and pure goodness are two different things.
Okay.
So goodness in this material world, it appears like best. That's the best you can get. Still, because it's still not pure though. It is contaminated with material modes. But the pure good, everything in the spiritual world is pure goodness. That's the proper word. Divya. Divya means, divya or transcendental, you can understand pure goodness. Pure good means any and free from any kind of material tinges.
Perfect. Thank you.
So, yeah. That's why it says Janma Karma Chame Divyam. The Lord, he can talk to you like this in this material world. You can have loving exchanges. But if you think that, oh, he has a body like this, hey, he's a person sitting next to me, talking to me, he's a body like me, then we don't have a good understanding about him. But Krishna says, oh, no, Arjuna, you have a body, you change the body every time, but I don't change the body. You change the body because it's a material body. But my body is pure goodness. Satchidananda Vigraha. They all fall under pure goodness. Thank you for raising that question. Okay. Any other thoughts? It's a very difficult task in this world to bring practice and accept, but realize this it's not an easy job. Only when devotees have loving exchanges, inspire each other, we can do it. Yesterday, Radharaman Prabhu shared, I was telling that Modi, he gave the gift of Bhagavad Gita to Putin. And the Russian president was visiting India. So it's interesting. Same, he gave the Prabhupada's book. He gave the Prabhupada's book and Putin has accepted the book. So it reminded me of all these struggles devotees had to go through. So much sacrifices they did to propagate Krishna consciousness in Russia. What is that? Just to explain everyone, is Krishna the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Very simple. Still, to do that, they had to give their life. So much torture they had to go through. So the struggle in this material world is not just easily available. Devotees do very much hard labor, so much of inconveniences they go through to share with others. And we are very fortunate in America. In American devotee, Vishnugata Prabhu can share more. American devotees also went through so much, to establish this movement. Now it is established. Now it's recognized, endorsed. All we need to do is just, enjoy the fruits by practicing and sharing with others. So, but I don't know how to do it. I think we all have to work hard together cooperatively and make that as a mission and goal, that whoever we see, just Bhagavad Gita. Pranath Prabhu always gives Bhagavad Gita to everybody. So everybody can keep. One realization came to my mind that at least I should make a flyer saying that who is Krishna and just some description and let it spread. At least people know about a little bit about Krishna. Anyone has a good definition, or maybe online is there, we can make it. Who is Krishna? Just one small page and share with others. It's a lot of responsibility we have it. Krishna has entrusted, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has entrusted that task to us. Prabhupada has entrusted that task to us. Parampara system will stay only when we live and practice and preach. Otherwise, it won't continue. That's a great source in our gurus, and they're always in constant in anxiety how this movement will continue with cooperation amongst the devotees. And the purity of the movement parampara can be retained, and many people generation after generation can receive this mercy. So actually it's a big responsibility to all of us also. Okay, if anyone has more comments, so should we stop it here? Suvadha Mataji is here, Pranath Prabhu, Mitravinda Mataji, Sobharada Mataji, everybody. Anyone has more comments?
No, Prabhu, thank you very much.
No, Prabhuji, very nice class. Thank you very much for enlightening us with the class and discussion.
It's a philosophy, philosophy is always hard. I'm glad if you understood, that's great. It's difficult to explain, it's difficult to understand both. That's why Krishna is not easy to be understood. Just engage in chanting and genuinely, and everything will be revealed to us. Okay, thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarvyascha upasindhuveva.
Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Sorry.